Hey everybody. Hey man. Hey. You okay? You okay? He just woke up, y'all. Not too long ago. So early this morning, guys, as you know, I gave you all a heads up of what I was going to talk about today. I had a incident at Frontier Airlines. Guess I'll say the name Frontier. Now, while I'm doing this live feed, I want everybody to know that it is not the entire airlines that is professional. You have some great people who work for Frontier. You have some awesome workers that do a heck of a job trying to make people happy and with professional and courteous services. But you always have somebody who is opposite from there. So I will not just sit here and just say the whole airline is bad or whatever. It's some people that make it bad. But just jumping into it, I'm glad I'm back home. I'm back with my family, back with my son, and even though we had to be separated today, it was very unexpected. And I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you all. I came from a gala. She's clapping. You clapping because I'm back? I was at a gala in Florida. And when we got back to the airport, I had a flight this morning. The flight was at 5 in the morning. So we were at the airport like around 2 o'clock-ish, going on 3 o'clock-ish. Had a very early morning flight. Very early. So basically, everybody's tired. When we walk in the airport, you see people laying around. You see people on the ground, sleeping on the floor, sleeping in the chairs, sleeping on the seats. We get it. You want to come get them? Yeah. You can call your mama to come get you. He's like, man. And so while I'm doing that, while we're looking at all these people sleep, we know there's early morning. Some people spent the night at the airport. Here you go. There you go. Some people spent the night at the airport. Some people had later flights, had early morning flights, etc., etc. And I was looking for a place to sit down for me and my family to sit while we were looking for our terminal. We found our terminal. Our terminal was number 16. Number 16 had people sleep everywhere. So I saw Terminal 14, which is kind of next door, and basically I saw a plug on the wall. So with that, and there was nobody on the back seats in the very back. So I walked there. And you all know the airports are kind of made the same. You have the desk, the receptionist desk, and you have people in front of the receptionist desk. You have people who sit behind the receptionist desk. Have people sit on the left side and the right side. We get it. There's seats all around. And when I plugged my phone up and put my bags down, my wife said she's going to take the kids to, the coffee shop or a little eatery up the way, because it's early in the morning. They hadn't had breakfast, and so I said, "Yeah, go ahead and get them some food." So while I'm sitting there, there's a young lady sitting, back there as well too. She's asleep. She had just woken up, and she got her bags and luggage, and she walked off. And this other Caucasian lady, she came in and she sat next to me, and so I'm sitting there, and I don't know what it was, but out of the blue, this lady who works for the airlines, Hispanic female, kind of heavy set and long black hair. She came back on the wall from where I was sitting, and she said, "You don't belong back here. You need to get out from here, because this is where the crew sits." Very aggressively, and she basically just yelled at me like I'm supposed to know where the crew sits, like the back wall. And I'm thinking, well, did she just reserve seats or something like that? Because technically there are citizens that are sitting here. They're waiting on their flight as well. So am I. And I told the lady, I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know that this was for crew members. So she pointed on the wall. They had printed out a piece of paper and I guess with tape and just stuck it on the wall, and all it said was crew. And so, y'all know me. I have a reputation to keep. I just get my bags, and I have a bunch of baby bags for David, and I get my suitcase, and I get chicken nuggets bag and everything. And I'm trying to get up and get things together because now we have to move. And evidently, guys, while I'm getting those things together, I wasn't moving fast enough. And when I look up, that same lady was standing over me, and she said, I can't do my job without you, with you still sitting here. You need to hurry up and leave and blah, 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 blah. And she's basically yelling at me. And I'm like, where is this all coming from? And she made the statement that you're sitting back here because you want to see what's on my computer. You want to see the information on my computer. And I'm like, ma'am, I don't know you. I don't want to see any information on the computer. So basically, guys, I sat and I took it. I guess she was expecting me to be one of those kind of people, to be hood and ghetto and start cussing out and pointing fingers and say, yeah, you don't tell me what to do. I'll do this and blah, blah, blah. I'm not that kind of guy. So what I did is after I struggled with my luggage and I was trying to move out the way while a lady is yelling at me, I said, ma'am, there are some more people that are sitting on the right side of you, and there's some more people that's also sitting on the wall over there. They can clearly see your computer. It's out in the open. The desk is in the middle of the floor. I said, I'm going to go sit by them. And I struggled my way on over there. And right when I said that, the lady called me a threat. She started yelling at me, said, yeah, you're a threat. What did you say? You're a threat. You want to read people's information from the computer. You're a threat. You are a threat. And at that time, she's calling me a threat. Now my family is calling back. I'm like, did this just happen? Like, people are looking around like, what is wrong with this lady? And I sat there anyway, and she said, you're a threat. Yeah, you won't be riding today. You won't do this. And I don't know if somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. I don't know. I was thinking all kind of stuff. Does this lady not like, law enforcement or something like that? Because I did wear this shirt right here with the blue line on it. Like, what is really going on? And she's still calling me a threat. And so when my wife gets there, she was like, what's going on? Why is she calling you a threat? And I said, I do not know. She gives me David, and I got the baby. They all get their food, whatever. And I walk around to the countertop, and I was like, excuse me, ma'am, can I at least get your name? Because I probably want to file a complaint, because this was unnecessary. This came out of nowhere, and it's very simple. And when I asked for her name, the lady yelled at me again and told me to get away. Don't approach. Don't approach me. You get away from me. She kept saying, don't approach me and get away from me. I'm like, that was so unprofessional. And people approach the counters all the time, but this lady told me, don't approach, and whisked me off and get away like I'm a dog. Get away from me. Shoot, go. Get away from me. So, guys, she did that in front of me and my family. And so I knew she wasn't going to give me her name. I knew I probably wasn't going to fully remember what she looked like. So the first thing I did is I took my cell phone out and I recorded her so I know who she is and which employee I want to file a complaint on. Because sometimes it's sad that you have to do that people just treat you any kind of way when all I did was simply sit down, and I was shocked. And so when I started recording her, the lady said, that's it, I'm calling the police on you. So the lady called the police on me at the airport and gave a description of me and said I'm not allowed to record her or whatever. But the lady wouldn't give me her name or anything like that. And that's when I said, ma'am, you can record in public. It is your First Amendment right. You cannot, trample over my rights. That's for everybody. You're in a public place. You won't give me your information. You're yelling at me early in the morning when I have not taken. I'm like, what did I do wrong? What did I do that was so bad to make you go off on me in front of these people? And now everybody's looking at the lady like, what is going on with her? What's wrong? So the lady called the police. Now, I could have said, like most people, well, you don't have to do that. And like I said, I guess she was expecting me to go off and act ghetto like a lot of other folks do when they get mad, but I didn't. I just simply said, that's your right, call them. And I sat down in my seat. And basically, something told me, Brian, don't sit down. You got your son with you and everything like that. Go and try to find the supervisor, because evidently something is wrong here. So I go across to the next terminal, across the little hall, and I try to ask for a supervisor. Those stewardess, they did not even look up. They was like, we're busy right now, blah, blah, blah. Which I'm not going to make anybody do anything. I just simply walk away. I go to another Frontier Airline desk, and I'm asking for a supervisor. I've asked for supervisor after supervisor after supervisor, and nobody responded to me. Nobody could produce a supervisor. And that's when I learned that most of those terminals, supervisors aren't really around, and they give a lot of stewardess airline workers fully power to do what they have to do, and it's like whatever they say goes. And I can imagine how many people have been done wrong or missed their flights or been talked to ugly or dirty, and they were not able to file a complaint or have a voice, and being disrespected or mistreated. And as for me, it was taken further because call the police on me. I guess, like I said, I guess I don't look like I belong in the airport, or I look like I don't know, what am I, some kind of drug dealer or something like that? I mean, I know I grew a beard out or whatever, and I know I'm a heavyset black dude, things like that, but that lady did not know my heart. She didn't even know who I was. I didn't even tell her that I was a cop myself. So finally, after going to terminal, I could not find anybody to get a supervisor for me. And the lady yelled out to me, "You're not getting on this plane." And now it's an escalation. I'm like, what? And now my mind is crazy. Like, what did I do, ma'am? And so finally, I look down the breezeway and I see two Orlando police officers. They're walking down to come to the situation. And I was relieved. And I waved them down and said, "Hey, that's me. That's me right here." And so the officer came to me and we talked. And I told him the situation of what just happened to me. And the officer, he just kind of did like this a little bit, not going into detail, but it's like he was so tired of answering complaints to this particular employee or whatnot, or this particular airport staff. And you could tell when certain officers are fed up going to the same call after the same call. Because I know sometimes when I do calls and it's the same person, I'm like, oh, Lord, not this person again. And so the officer told me, "Hey, just wait right here and let me go ahead and handle this for you, and let me go talk to her and blah, blah." So he goes and talks to the stewardess that did all the disrespecting and yelling at me and telling me to get going, or, move away, don't approach all that, get away from me. So as the officer is talking to her, both officers went over there to talk to this lady. And the lady start going off on the police. She started disrespecting the police officers too. She wouldn't let the police officers talk. She was belittling them, like acting like she knows what she's talking about. And basically, they are a private airline, so the police, they can't really just make anybody put anybody on the plane. But she was doing it to the point and enjoying it, like, hey, well, I can make this guy's life miserable, and there's nothing that he can do anything about it, or the police could do about it. And so finally, the police, they were saying, "Ma'am, you just have to listen to it. What did he do? Like, what is going on? I get that you want him to move, and you put a sign that says for crew, for your friends, I guess, to sit down. But what does he do?" And the lady just simply said, "You know what? I don't care if both of you officers are here. You know what? He's still not getting on this plane." And so I started recording her. And she said, "Look, he's recording me again." That's because she didn't want to give the officers their names or anything like that. And the officers told her, "Ma'am, he is allowed to record in a public place. This is public. He can. You didn't give him your name. He can do that. It's not against the law." And so she looked at my camera, guys, and she said, "Hi, and you're still not getting on this plane, even if the police are here. Bye." Kind of laughing it off like it was funny to mess with somebody's life like that. And I got it all on my phone. I will be releasing it to the public, so you all will be able to see exactly who it is, and I'm going to put it out there. At that time, the police officers saw another young lady, which is a young black lady. She claimed to be a supervisor. A supervisor finally came out, and the police officers are trying to explain to the supervisor, but of how their employee was acting towards a customer and like what's going on, and he's trying to fly home to his family, and the lady said, "Well, yeah, well, he's yeah, I don't, he can, he's not flying on our plane, but they can go." So basically, they separated me from my family, and my family was able to get on the plane. Janisha said, "Well, because she has the baby and it's early in the morning, and I want my kids to sleep." And so I took that sacrifice. I said, "Yeah, go ahead. You all go ahead and go home. If they're gonna let you off, I'll go ahead and go home. We'll deal with this." And so the officers tried to talk to the lady, and officers couldn't get anything but disrespect. But I want to appreciate Orlando Police Department for the fine job that they did with trying to de-escalate for something that was not even supposed to be escalated, because they were confused too of why they were being talked to crazy and why this lady was trying to over-talk them. And I have the officer's name, and I'm going to give them a shout out right now. It's going to be Officer A. Tran. Officer Tran, thank you so much for your professionalism, and I know you tried your best. Sometimes, you just can't get through to everybody. And Officer Rudy Wilson, sir, thank you so much for doing your best and being on the job and keeping your professionalism. And now I understand that you all have had to deal with things like that several times, and I never would have thought that it would happen to me. So basically, the lady told them that I wasn't flying, and basically, you can leave our terminal, you can get off our terminal, like basically like I'm some bum on the street. And so the police officers respectfully, they walked away, and they came and got me. Said, "Okay, Mr. Woodard, you're good. Come on with us." And so the officers gave me a police escort to the front. They gave me a police escort to, past TSA to where the supervisors of that airline was. And we talked to one of the head supervisors over there. I believe her name was Angie. And the police officers talked to Miss Angie, and you can hear them from a distance telling me, "Well, what they did to this young lady is just wrong. You can't talk to people and treat them like dogs and just kick them off of a plane just because you feel that you have the authority to, and there's no consequences behind it." And she tried to do that to me. And so the airline, Miss Angie, said, "Okay, what is your name?" And I gave her my name and gave her my ID. She said, "What is your confirmation number?" And I gave her the confirmation number. And when I gave her the confirmation number, the supervisor of Frontier Airlines said, "I can't find him on here anywhere." Taking this further, guys, the lady who was yelling at me and fussing at me and whatever, she deleted my name from my tickets. My tickets were in my name. I bought tickets for my entire family. I don't believe she was supposed to do that, but the supervisor, he was like, "Oh my God." She deleted his name. And that's when the other supervisor, which I didn't get his name, was a black gentleman, he immediately apologized to say, "Look, man, well, we're so sorry that you had to encounter that. We're so sorry for what happened, blah, blah, blah." You could tell the other supervisor, she wasn't quite turning red, but she kind of was getting very upset by what she heard and what she saw. And the police officer took it even further to show her what was going on and explaining to her what their employee was doing. And he said, "Sir, do you have it filmed on camera?" I said, "I sure do." And I showed her the video footage, and the supervisor could not believe what she was seeing. And basically, the airline didn't apologize, but there's certain individuals like that, supervisors, that apologize for how it was treated. I didn't even know how to act. I've never been treated like that before. I've never been called a threat. The lady was calling me a threat because she said I wanted to see people's information. I'm like, I'm just trying to get home. And basically what they did is they tried to find me, even though I had to hand my baby and my family over and let them get on the plane to go back to Dallas. The lady inconvenienced me, and I guess she thought it was funny by saying, "Ha ha ha, yeah, you still won't be getting on this plane. I don't care if both of y'all cops are here or not." And y'all will see that because I'm going to put it online. I have that on video. I guess she thought that she would be able to get away with doing something like that. And that wasn't funny. That's not cool at all. You don't play with people's livelihoods like that. So basically, Frontier Airlines, they rebooked me on another ticket, and my family had to go one way and I had to go the other. All because somebody thought that it would be okay to belittle folks and talk to them wild and crazy. And so that is why I had a connecting flight. Instead of going straight home, I flew into Atlanta. And from Atlanta, I flew into Dallas, where I'm just now getting back home. Couldn't wait to see my child. It was an experience that I have never had before. And so basically they took care of that for me, and they sent me back to they overrided it and sent me back to the terminal, because one thing about it is when that lady took my name off the ticket, what she did is, to me, she waited on my family to get on the plane. Then she canceled my name on the ticket. So that would mean that the tickets were not valid. So my family was on that plane illegally. No record of them found. And when they saw my name and I was the head person on there, that's when they were apologizing, like, oh my God, she deleted his name. And you know what? This is just to show a lot of people in the world. And I felt bad because it was done to me. But one thing that I'm thinking about now is I feel very bad that it probably has happened to so many people at the airport, where you were talking dirty to, people disrespect you, airline workers didn't care, they yelled at you, they got smart mouth with you. And a lot of people who want to file complaints or want to tell somebody they don't have a voice and there's nothing that they can do, and even kicking people off airplanes without cause. And the general public might not have anything to do. They have nobody to turn to. I thought about how many people who have been done like that. And so that was my experience. And I just don't want anybody else to go through that before. And all I simply did was sit down. That's it. There's no long, hard story. Sit down. I guess she felt that she's big and bad enough with authority to come yell at me and tell me I need to get out of here. I don't belong here. This is for what's the name? But that was done to me. And one thing about it, during that time, I never did tell that lady who I was. I never did tell her that I'm a police officer myself. The only way that other cops found out that I was a law enforcement officer is, number one, I have this shirt on that I have my old quote on there that I used to quote all the time. It says, I refuse to see hate live while love dies. And I don't know what it was, but something made me wear this shirt to the airport today. The cop asked me, he said, so why are you in town? What's going on? I said, well, I'm here for a gala, a law enforcement event. And, that's how he found out that I was a law enforcement officer. And he asked where I served. It's just like how military guys say, hey, where'd you serve at? Hey, where are you stationed at? And I told him I served in Texas and blah, 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 blah. And he told me a little bit about him. And, but other than that, I kept it a secret. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell the airline workers. I didn't tell that stewardess that were yelling at me. I didn't tell anybody that I was a law enforcement officer, because I don't need to have, credentials or authority just to say, hey, I'm this, I'm that. I'm a normal citizen in another state. I mean, I don't have to do all that, But then again, I guess they were expecting me to overreact or yell, whatever. There's other ways of going about doing things. And I just decided to take the high road. Even though the high road, somebody tried to still get back at me and try to inconvenience me, which they did. And this is why I'm just now getting back home. And that is how I left Orlando. So I will still be filing a complaint. The lady who did that to me, I believe the officer said, she said her name on the body cam. He said, I believe her name is Maria, the one who was yelling at me. Her name was Maria. And later on, guys, I'll make these videos and I will put everything that you want to see out there, because you're probably not going to be happy with it. but I want the world to see how some people are treated, and I just so happened to get it on video. Also, when I finally got back to the terminal, I forgot about this. There was a young lady who was flying into Atlanta with me, and she said, "Yeah, that's the same lady." I showed her the video on my phone. She said, "That's the same lady that made that other old lady cry." There was a lady, as you know, when I left, this happened afterwards. She did it to someone else. She made this lady take the wheels allegedly off of her suitcase. And she told the lady that you're not flying with those wheels on the suitcase, take them off. And the lady cried and she broke the wheels on her bag, whatever. And I remember I still saw a wheel on the floor. And I said, she did what? And I asked her, I said, would you mind saying that on video? Because she said, sure. So this is the general public that's seeing people being treated like this. And I'm going to put that video out on there too. And the public also told me that there was a guy that she had an encounter with that made this man throw his clothes away and said it was you can't bring those clothes on here. And you know, some people, you know, I've seen some people bring their belongings in the trash bags before. I've seen people bring snacks and things like that in the Kroger. So you don't know what people might be going through, but the dude wanted to go home so bad. She said that the guy, they said, you should have been here. The guy, he took his clothes and he threw them in the trash can. I was like, what? And so that's why I say I'm just so sad to see, you know, other people who might have been treated like that. But to Miss Maria, if that's your name, I know I didn't tell you who I am. I'm sorry that you had a bad day. I'm sorry that you feel that you can belittle people because of your position, but you never know who is who. And I just hope Frontier Airlines chooses to do the right thing. Because my family and I, believe it or not, we were coming back to Dallas and we were going to church this morning and we missed it. And we were supposed to be there, but all because of one person think that it's okay to change people's lives. So I'm going to say this one more time about Frontier. It's not everybody at Frontier Airlines. If you're on this page and you work for Frontier and you do an excellent job in customer service, excellent job helping people, excellent job, you know, doing this and doing that, this doesn't concern you. That's one thing that we all have to do. We can't blame a whole entire entity just because of one bad apple. And I know that for a fact because I'm a law enforcement officer and I know how it feels. Because when people out there get done wrong by the police or do something that's illegally or done wrong or whatever, and they felt that they don't have a fair chance and they blame all police officers. And that's not fair to me and many others. So I get it. But I am going to pray that Frontier Airlines do the right thing because I did not deserve that today. I don't know where that came from. There's a way to talk to people and a way not to talk to people. And, you know, definitely thinking it's funny on video by laughing and saying that I'm not, you don't care if those police officers are there, you disrespected them, and then say that I'm still not getting on the plane. I've never been done like that in my life. I've never been done like that in my life. And somebody called me earlier today and said, Brian, you should just start flying private. And I told them no, not because private is expensive, but I like networking with folks. I like being around people. But certain people, you know, just like my wife said, you gotta see the devil when he's there. I mean, that was nothing but a demonic force of me leaving the state of Florida. But I love the state of Florida. I love the citizens. They are awesome. And I would never just let one person ruin it for everybody. And that's that. That's what I went through today. When I put the picture up, guys, of this Maria lady, if anybody in the world knows her name or her last name or anything like that, I guess she thought that she got away with it. Try to identify her because I would not even know what name to put on the complaint. All I can do is put a video on there, but a video is one thing, but a name means a lot. So, yeah, and that'll be all. So I'm going to get off this live for a while and go back and enjoy my family. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and to watching. And let me just leave you with this. You don't have to get on people's level to accomplish your goals. You know, if somebody is being rude or disrespectful, that does not mean you have to be over them and be rude and disrespectful. You know what? Just let God do your work for you. Let God do your work for you. I'm about to go and finish enjoying my family. I'll talk to y'all later. Love you guys. Bye. So y'all, this morning, I was told to go ahead and move out of a way at a seat, which I understand people sit down in seats. She wants to call the police on me because I'm sitting behind the counter and they have computers right there. But these right here, I guess I don't look the right way. And I guess I gotta get the police called on me because I'm sitting in the back. That's crazy. All right, guys, so the Karen lady, which I hate using the word Karens because there's so many great people in the world that have the name of Karen, but guys, as disrespectful as she was to law enforcement, it's just sad. And she is the one that called the police. And when the police officers are trying to figure out, well, what did he do wrong, ma'am? Talk to us, whatever. She, in the video, is being disrespectful to the police. And she said, and I quote, even though that you guys are here, he's still not going to go at that flight. He's still not getting on the flight. And you can hear her say that, being disrespectful to police, when all they're trying to do is trying to see what's wrong with her. Well, here, watch. Listen for yourself. Here you go. What's wrong? See, now, you see what she says? Now she knows that we can legally do that. Now, you just heard her say we can go that flight? In the video, you can see police officers are trying to calm her down to see what's going on and why she did what she did. And do you know what she told the police? I'll take it a step further. She told the police that y'all don't have no control. Matter of fact, y'all just listen very closely. Watch the video. And so the point of it all now is the part where she walks behind the corner after going off on police, after they walked off because there's nothing else that they can do. They tried their best. The lady turns around, looks at my camera, and said, "Bye, you're still not getting on the flight. Okay, bye," and smirked. And that was the most disrespectful thing that I have. I mean, that was it. Take a look for yourself. That's wrong. Okay. Man, okay, she doesn't know which network she's going on. You know, when she did that, another young lady came out, and I didn't get the whole recording on that one, but she was a black female, and she stuck by Karen's side, or shall I say Maria. I don't know what her real name is. I haven't filed a complaint because I don't know her name. Who would I file a complaint on? She never identified herself to me. But the black lady, she basically was disrespectful to police too. She didn't want to hear anything they had to say. The police officer was telling her that, ma'am, even what she did that, and she just smirk and smile at him like that. I mean, like, what's going on here? That's just listen to what the police officer is saying. Listen closely, y'all.
But if I get some vague answers, and we do this all the time, and when customers used to get real angry and come all the way around the corner, and you guys would still talk to them there, I don't see a difference, right? And you guys would still help them. So that's why I'm trying to figure this out. And then for her to just smile and say, I mean, we're coming out for a civil situation, and this just causes more fun.
Here she comes again, everybody.
It hurts more than that.
Okay, I'm not gonna respond to anything.
At the end, it cut off, but what the lady said, and she told the police officer straight up, "I'm not going to respond to anything that you say." You know, he's still not getting on the flight. And the officer's like, "But you just don't listen. You just don't do that. You know, what did he do wrong?" But anyway, the officers, they tried all they could do to try to make their situation right or whatever they were going through. And finally, the officers just said, "You know what? You're good. Just come with us. We'll try another route." Now, Now, I wasn't wearing a body cam or anything like that, and they refused to give me their name. And the quote unquote other lady, the black heavyset lady, she didn't give me her name either. But so I did. I started recording because how else am I going to identify them? You know, I have nothing. And so the black lady said, well, actually, the police officer said, well, he has a right to record. You know, he can do that. And she said, well, I have a right to not answer you. I'm like, wow. Here it goes.
You have every right to do so.
Exactly. So I have every right not to answer.
Okay,
Right?
cool.
Okay.
So, hold on. If they would have appeased her for a second, because she didn't take the time to listen to anything they had to say, which her work was
We're gonna let
wrong.
her board,
Okay.
but you're good to go.
Okay.
All right? So let's go.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for your professionalism. They talk to some people like that. They must talk to everybody like that.
Well, I'm nobody.
That's wrong.
You see what I'm saying?
So all in all, I don't know what Frontier Airlines is going to do. It's out there, and I don't think that should slide at all, because if they did that to me, then you think about how many countless citizens she's done that to, and they had no voice, and they couldn't get help. So some people just use their authority as a power trip, and those ladies, especially the Hispanic lady, she did that. And one thing that I didn't say earlier is when I had to separate from my family and I gave my baby over to my wife and told them to just go ahead and go back to Dallas, I'll be fine. I did not think about her being by herself, without, with the children, with an 8-month-old. She had to wait on me all the way to, this afternoon. We all rode together. The baby needed milk and formula and things like that. And some people just don't think of things like that when you try to be evil and mean to people. And my family did suffer, but I wasn't the only one. My kids did too. My little boy did too. That's why when I finally made it back this afternoon, I couldn't wait to give him a hug and to let him know everything was good and all right. So I hope people at Frontier Airlines see this. And I'm really hoping something to be done about this, because this right here can open a lot of people's eyes to know that there are people out there in these airlines that abuse people verbally and talk to them like trash and do evil things to them, and they think they have no consequences. So, Frontier Airlines, the ball is in your court. That's wrong. Okay.